Welcome to All Gems, No Crumbs, where the vibes are high and the tips hit every time. I'm your host, Ikenisha J, entrepreneur, millennial mama, wife, and your go to for real talk on building your brand, protecting your peace, and living your softest life yet. Each week, I'm dropping gems to help you level up in business, mindset, self care, and everything in between without the fluff, pressure, or burnout. No crumbs, just gems. Let's get into it. Hello, jewelers, and welcome to the very first episode of All Gems, No Crumbs. I'm your host, Ikenisha J. The J stands for Jenkins, and today we're kicking off with a super important topic that I know so many of you can relate to, and that's about taking a social media break as an entrepreneur. And I'm going to be real with you, this is something that I've struggled with and something that I've needed to do, and I'm going to share why. So, we're going to go back. We're going to go all the way back to 2017. That's when I first started my entrepreneurial journey. So if you are new to me, I started my entrepreneurial journey with an online boutique. It was called Jinx Fashionique. I started July 2nd of 2017. I'm not going to go through the whole long story of how I got started. There's actually a YouTube video all about that. Hopefully I can link it somewhere and you can go view that. But anywho, when I first started that journey, the thought of taking a break from social media was scary. I mean, like I could not take a break from social media because that was the way I was getting seen, especially through Instagram. And I was using Facebook at first, but then I was banned. Once again, it's a whole nother story. But yes, I was banned on Facebook. And so I concentrated a lot on Instagram. And I was growing pretty quickly. But the thing is, by 2018, I was really starting to feel it. I was starting to feel the pressure. It was starting to feel like a chore to post on Instagram. It was just like I was starting to dread it. So, what I did was I took a break. And it wasn't just about needing a breather, it was about recognizing that I wasn't just running a business, I was running myself into the ground. And I'm sure you felt that way too. It's like a feeling of burnout is creeping in. You start feeling things like envy, anxiety. And I was even feeling annoyed sometimes when I was scrolling through my feed. And that's when I knew, again, that it was time for me to rest and reset. And I want to be real with you. At one point, I took a social media break for a year. And it wasn't originally supposed to be a year. Like I planned on taking like a little break because there would be times where I would disappear from Instagram for like a few days or maybe 2 weeks. Every once in a while, it might be a month. And that was originally what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like a week or two. And then that week or two turned into a month. And then that month turned into three. And then I just didn't get back on. And I'm strictly talking about Instagram or more so posting for business, okay? And during that time, I was still making money, and people want to know why, and I'm going to tell you why. From the beginning of my journey, I always utilized not in Instagram marketing, sorry, email marketing. And it was already a good friend of mine, but it became my best friend during social media breaks. And Pinterest was also something I started experimenting with, and it became my playground. And I stayed in touch, obviously, with friends and family through phone calls, text messages, and Facebook. But I never really posted on Facebook about business. I just kept it personal. And honestly, it was the best decision I ever made. But if we're going to keep it 100, there were consequences. Like, taking a break that long definitely hurt my income in the short term, but I still would not change the length of time that I took for that break because my mental health, my family, my peace of mind, all of that matters way more than any dollar amount that can be thrown at me because at the end of the day, I want my kids to have a happy, healthy mother who is not burned out or overwhelmed, and they deserve that. And so I want to give you something that is super practical to help you make this work for your own business if you want to take breaks. So taking a break isn't just about going offline and then you just hope for the best and then you just don't do anything. You have to have systems set up that allow you to take a step back so nothing falls apart. And again, that's what my email marketing focus was for. And being that I was able to concentrate on email marketing from the beginning and then have that time specifically for email marketing and not having the distraction of social media, it became my best friend, like I said earlier. Automations really helped me, whether it was my welcome sequences, my I had a sequence with my boutique called Hey Stranger, and that particular sequence generated a lot of money for me. It was a sequence where if you were someone who shopped with me before and you hadn't returned within like 30 to 60 days, that automation would get sent out, and it's just like, like, hey, where you been? You got come on back and shop. We got new things, something like that. I can't remember the wording. So I would have those. Product launches would come out, re-engagement emails, those sort of things. And I had everything set up to run on autopilot. And then I will also have a few days where I would batch create emails. Those will be scheduled, and I would go about my life. And that's what you need to do. You need to have days planned out where you batch create your emails or any content, right? If even if you aren't taking a social media break, you still need to have times where you batch create because that will take away from the overwhelm. So I also turned to Pinterest, and I turned to Pinterest when Instagram started becoming more video focused. Because not like, if you know me, if you've seen some of my work, I can create and edit some great videos. I just didn't want to. I just didn't want to do it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like it just got to be annoying because I felt like Instagram was my boss. And I was my own boss. From 2019 was the last time that I like clocked in for like a job, other than being a part-time tutor at an elementary school that I'm at right now. But I didn't want Instagram telling me what I had to do, and that's what it felt like to me. And so it started to turn into, again, me dreading to post anything because I knew if it was not a reel, it was not going to perform. So I turned to Pinterest because it's an evergreen platform, and a lot of people do not realize that Pinterest is a search engine like Google and YouTube. And once you get your content right, you can post and let it work for you, and your pins can work for you months and years later on down the road. Like, for example, during my last year of my boutique, I closed my boutique after 7 years, if you're not aware. I had someone message me about a particular blazer and a top, and she found it on Pinterest. And the thing is, those two pins were like 3 years old. They were still there. And she was like dying for those items. And I was like, ma'am, I'm so sorry. But those pins are old and I can't even get those items anymore from that particular vendor. She still shopped with me, but the thing is, I was able to get a new customer from Pinterest for a pin that I posted years ago. So Pinterest is severely underrated. That's a whole nother episode for another day. And I do talk about it in my new video on my, no, it's not a video, it's a class that I just created called the Ultimate Boutique Marketing System. Well, it's not even a class, it's a whole system, it's a whole course. And I talk about Pinterest in there. But anywho, what was I talking about? Anywho, okay, yeah. So I was still on Facebook, like I said. I kept sharing my real life experiences and all that. But again, I only did that on Facebook where I was private. And it really helped me get the breathing room that I needed. And something else that I was doing in 2021 was I was starting a spiritual journey. It was about healing because 2020 was a hard year for my marriage and me mentally. So 2021, I started a spiritual journey all about healing, and that is also what was hurting my business was my mental health. And one of my favorite ways to cope with stress and anxiety is journaling. I have always been a journaler since before I can remember. I know I was in elementary school when I started, But writing down my feelings has really helped me process everything from work stress, life stuff, everything. It doesn't matter. As long as I can write it down, I just feel so much better. And back in 2021, I discovered something on YouTube that really changed the game for me. I don't do it all the time, and I really haven't done it lately. It's been a while. It's called future journaling. And if you don't know what that is, it's when you write in your journal like you're already living your dream life, like you're already that girl. So, for example, if your goal is to hire a team and get an office space, you're going to write about your day as if it's already happening. Like that is your current reality. So, you would write something like, today was amazing. I onboarded 3 new interns. They're tech geniuses. My marketing team is now finally complete. I'm so excited to go back to work tomorrow to work with them and train them. So, that's what you would write. And something that's interesting is I do a lot of networking, and I am a huge advocate of networking, whether it's online or in person, but definitely in person in your community. And I was talking to someone that I met through networking a few days ago, and I told her about future journaling and that something that she and I had talked about was something that I wrote about 3 years prior. And now those things, along with other things, are starting to come true. And it's pretty crazy to think about how powerful that kind of journaling can be, because basically what you're doing, you are getting yourself ready subconsciously for your future self. And you're going to start making decisions. This is what I found out or figured out or started doing it for myself. I started making decisions that would lead me to be my future self, if you get what I'm saying. Like, I would think about, okay, is this what future Ikenisha would do? Is this what the future millionaire Ikenisha would do? And then just subconsciously, I would just make decisions without even asking myself that. It was just a decision that my brain was pushing me to and God was pushing me to, because it was leading me down this next path. So I highly recommend you start doing that. If anyone has questions about it, please email me, ikenishaj@gmail.com, or you can reach out to me on Instagram at royal_aries325. You can even reach out to me on LinkedIn. It's just my name, Ikenisha Jenkins. Whatever. Find me. Ask me. I do not mind talking about it. So anywho, let's talk about mental health for a quick second. I mentioned before that in 2020, which everybody knows that was a crazy year anyway, that was quarantine, COVID, all that. That was also a hugely tough time in my marriage. And depression hit me hard. And what's crazy is that 2020 was my highest grossing year with both businesses. I made a lot of money. And on paper, again, it was a great year. But mentally, I was a mess. And if you go back and watch some of my YouTube videos at the time, you can literally see the depression written all over my face. Like, it was there. You could tell. Like, my eyes were not as happy and sparkling. But the thing is, even though I was going through all of that, I didn't hide it from my audience. And in fact, I think it helped me connect with so many of you, if you are a listener who used to watch me back then. People got to see me go through ups and downs, and it was okay. It was real. I didn't put on a fake smile. I didn't fake it, nothing. I just let people know, like, hey, this is the real. This is what happens when you're an entrepreneur. This is what happens when you're going through things. This is what happens when you're going through depression. And it turns out it made me more relatable, and I got even more sales. And I wasn't even selling anything. I was just able to get more clients through my consulting business, and then still getting more people buying from me, because like on my boutique side, because they were like, I just want to support you. So I urge you to be more transparent with your audience, even if you're not taking a social media break. Like, just be authentic. I know you hear that term a lot, authenticity and being authentic, but for real, be authentic, because people want to know that you are relatable. And when I became my own boss, I wanted one thing, and that was freedom. And freedom from not just having a boss and not just having like the freedom financial, but the freedom for me to choose how I work, when I work. When something's not working for me, I can change it up. And basically it's the freedom of choice, and that's the kind of freedom I want for you. Whether you're running your business solo or a mom juggling life with business, I want you to have that freedom of choice. So my advice to you, especially if you're someone who's feeling overwhelmed right now or you're burnt out from social media, set up your business with those systems that I talked about with your email. Email will definitely help you. And I do have email marketing class, just so you know. I will be talking about a few things like that in my podcast episode, so I'm so sorry, but I still gotta make a living, you know. So make sure you go to my website, theikenisha.j.com or theikenisha.j.com, so you can find these classes and so you can work with me. Okay. So, anywho, I want you to set up those systems so that way they work for you and not the other way around. And if you haven't done that yet with your email marketing or any sort of systems, it's never too late to start. I'm living proof of that. And with systems in place, you can take breaks without feeling like you're going to lose everything. And remember, taking care of you is always the first priority, okay? When you're feeling mentally and emotionally balanced, your business will thrive. And if you need a social media detox, take it. Don't feel guilty. Your peace is worth it, okay? And I do have something that I created during that time. I never sold it, I never told anyone about it. And I just found it in my Canva one day because I forgot that I made it. It's called the Switch Off Journal. And if you're listening to this episode and you want it, there will be a link somewhere. This is my first episode, so I'm unsure of how to do it, but I'm going to figure it out, okay? There will be a link somewhere, and you can grab it for free, okay? It's just for you to take a social media detox or to switch off, all right? So that's it for my first episode. I didn't want to bog you down with a whole lot, but I wanted to slowly let you in on who I am and what I've done. And I hope this resonates with you and reminds you that you don't have to be on all the time in order to be successful. Okay? You can take a break. It's needed. If you need it, take it. Your peace, again, is what really matters. And if you're a mom, you gotta be happy and healthy, especially mentally. So be sure to subscribe, share this episode with someone who needs it, whatever else I'm supposed to say because I'm used to YouTube. So, yeah, catch me next week with another gem of advice. And again, you know, I'm not gonna leave no crumbs.